The town of Islip presents Can Suffolk Be Saved? A 10-part environmental series. Tonight's program, Before the Tide.
This is a series about growth, about development, about sprawl, about what's happened to Suffolk County in the last several years, in the last couple of hundred years, and its prospects for the future. A line could be drawn from Boston down through southern Connecticut, through New York City, down Jersey, and through Maryland to Washington, D.C., and be regarded as a megalopolis line, the East Coast megalopolis. At this point in 1974, on each side of that line, for about 40 miles, 50 miles, is sprawl. Suffolk County has been mostly excluded from the spread of the sprawl up to recent years. An island jutting out into the Atlantic, it just wasn't along the main thoroughfares. It was a dead end. It was exempt. But as the sprawl has gone further and further, 40, 45, 50, 55 miles, even Suffolk County, a very, very delicate landmass, is becoming enmeshed. The question we pose in the series is whether Suffolk County can be saved, or whether it's going to be consumed like all the rest of the land along that megalopolis line. We start this show on Gardiner's Island, a time capsule, a place like all of Long Island was before any man, any white man, came. It's a privately held island where the public is not allowed. Later on in the show, we'll look at Connetquot State Park, another place on Long Island in Oakdale, where time has more or less stood still. It's a state park, but a very unusual state park, a place where people can go in very small numbers on tours to again see what the island was before humankind came in large numbers. And lastly, we'll go to Carmens River, another unspoiled part of Long Island, but its future is more up in the air. The point is that Suffolk County isn't just a couple of hundred square miles of prairie. It's an extraordinarily delicate place, a place which held enormous bounty. And if it is consumed by that sprawl, it'll be gone forever. Robert David Lyon Gardiner, the 14th Lord of the Manor of Gardiner's Island. The original Gardiner, when did he come here, and why did he come here?
He came to America in 1635 to build forts in New England against the Dutch, who were then in New Amsterdam. And he was the first military engineer to be sent by the War Office for that purpose, to defend the British Empire such as it was, namely Massachusetts Bay Colony.
How come this island? Why did they go to this island?
He was on a 4-year contract. He didn't come here to emigrate like most people. And his letter is still extant to the War Office. And he said, "Me lords, I would fain brave all the savages of the New World than go back across that dreadful Atlantic. So I bought an island of mine own from the Indian, Chief Wyandanch, and I should humbly petition His Majesty to grant it to me." So it was made the first lordship and manor in America.
The Gardiner family, for many years, ran this place as sort of a self-contained...
plantation. We had our own blacksmith shop. We made our own ironware, locks, hammers, hinges. Burly blacksmiths manned the forge. You can see the forge there today, and the anvil. The windmills ground the grain. There were 5 windmills on the island. In its heyday, there was one that was built only to last 2 years, which was to saw the mahogany we brought from the Honduras across the Caribbean and up the coast of Florida, up to Montauk Point and around here. And I have beautiful dining room tables that were made from that mahogany. And we had sawmills that were powered by the windmill, which were strapped by the cowhide straps, and with reduction gears operated the sawmills with the wind power. Also looms. The tens of thousands of sheep on the island, the women would card the wool of the sheep into thread on spinning wheels, and then it was spun. Then the windmills operated looms, and the shuttles went back and forth and actually wove homespun coats for our servants to have wool coats in the winter. And they were made here on the island. I even have blankets that were made, Gardiner's Island wool made into blankets.
It was a self-sufficient place then.
Well, yes, we had orchards down this hill. There were pear orchards and apple orchards. Unfortunately, the fruit trees do not last long. But in East Hampton, they still have Gardiner's Island peach trees, descended from the peaches here. This island represents America before Columbus discovered it. It's had the least use by man, who was the most destructive creature on this planet. For hundreds of years, we have used this as a private estate. Luckily, we've had no fire in the virgin oak forest, which is the largest one left on the Atlantic seaboard. We have approximately 1,000 deer, which we have to shoot to reduce the herd to 700. We have to shoot 300 every year. Unfortunately, the does know nothing about the pill. And the result is the herd increases. There are no wolves as there used to be here. I couldn't get Mrs. Mackey to stay in the house if there were wolves around here. And I don't mean the other kind. I mean the wolves that howl.
This is a very bountiful place. It's a place of milk and honey.
There were 5 freshwater streams. That's why my ancestor got it. The only island that had freshwater streams. We didn't even need